So moving on from contacts, the last section within the management aspect of your settings is going to be apps. Now, this might be slightly different to what you're expecting. You're not configuring an app here, but it is to do with your other touch points. So things like the widget on your website, the contact portal. If you also have any other integrated touch points, this may be visible there. So it's going to be things like your terms and conditions, your login and registration email. So if a customer is logging into, like I said, your loyalty page, your contact portal, your widget, whatever it may be. And then you also have your cookie settings, your support email address, and then we're going to finish up with designing and configuring your wallet pass. So to start from the top, you have your terms and conditions here. So you can add these completely down to what you already have existing. It's going to be completely customized. So just to give you an example, you can add your content in here. You can tweak it in terms of font size. If you want to add a different text color, different line height, or add things like bulleted lists or change the justification of things, you can customize everything here completely. So just to give you an example, that's your title, you have your content here, etc. You can copy and paste this in from your existing terms and conditions really easily and make sure it's exactly as you need it to be. Then following that, you have your login email and your registration email. So as I mentioned, these are going to be used if customers are logging into one of your other touch points or portals. So think of things like a widget on your website where they have to log in to get their personalized loyalty data, or logging into their contact portal to, again, see their personalized loyalty data. Any of those touch points, if they want to log in, then they can enter their email address or whatever other unique identifier they have. And then they will receive an email to give them a login code to make sure that their identity is verified and only the correct people are able to access your loyalty program. If you want to see how you can actually edit these down to your branding and make sure they're fully customized, and also see how you can tweak the styling and content of emails, then I would recommend you jump to the marketing lesson, and then we're going to cover everything to do with emails in there. If you want to edit these, you can just click on View Email Details here. You'll be directed to the overview page where you can then edit the email. Following on from this, you have your cookie settings. So similarly to terms and conditions, you can create your own custom content here, and then you can also link to your cookie statement if you have it existing on your website. So if you want to use some custom content, you can just use this toggle. Otherwise, we have what you can see in the preview here as some kind of default content that you can use on your website. But to use custom content, you just turn on this toggle, and then you can see how you can edit that. So I'm just going to say, we use cookies to track our website visitors and provide personalized experiences, for example. And you can also then link to your cookie statement if you would like to. So you can give it a label. So let's say view cookie statement, for example. And then you can enter in your URL for your cookie statement. So mine is going to be www.leet.com/cookie statement, for example. And you can just copy and paste your cookie statement URL in here. Just make sure that you have this prefix before your domain and the slug itself to make sure that it's approved. And once you've done so, you can hit update, and then that will be applied and you'll get your preview here. The following thing is your support email address. So this is just the address where customers will be able to reach out to you if they have any kind of trouble with their account or any questions or feedback for you. So I'm going to say support@leetacademy.com. And once you've done so, again, you just hit update and that's going to be saved successfully. And now we've configured everything we need to in terms of compliance and helping our customers get safe and secure access to our loyalty program. The last thing that we need to do now is configure our wallet pass, which is a bit more in detail, but I'm going to take you through that now. So you're going to hit Edit Design and you'll be redirected to the overview of your wallet pass. As you can see, I'm on the details page here, and you can navigate to the front page using the left-hand navigation. You also have your Apple and Google Wallet within this editor. So if you want to see how your design differs and how it's applied between the two different platforms, you can use the toggle here at the top. We have all of the different fields and details that we can edit on the right-hand side here. And then finally, you have notifications, which I will take you through at the very end. So to start from the very top, we're going to use the Apple as our kind of base, and then that's going to be applied to the Google version as well, which we can check once we've configured everything. So I'm going to start at the top where we have our icon here. Now, your logo that you submitted when creating your account and what you entered in the brand book is going to be applied here, but maybe that doesn't exactly fit as an app icon. So what you can do is just click on it on the right-hand side, and then you can upload an image if you would like to. So like so, for example, and I'm going to use this as the icon within my Wallet Pass. You can see that fits much more nicely. Then you have your title next to it. So if you don't have an icon and maybe you're just using a square version of your logo, then maybe you don't want a title that's going to just repeat your company name. In my case, I have an icon, so I'm going to leave it in as is. But if you want to tweak it and call it something else, then you can just change that on the right-hand side like so. Or if you don't want any kind of title whatsoever, you can just remove it, and then it will appear like this. I'm going to make sure I have my title in there just because I don't have any kind of word mark in my logo here. I just have the app icon. So I'm going to leave my title as Elite Academy. And then the next thing that you have before we get to any of the fields is your cover image. So to add a cover image, you're just going to select it here on the right-hand side. And then you can choose one from your media library, or you can upload a new one. If you have the resources and you have a design team, it's really nice to actually create a custom image that's a bit more specific to your loyalty program. But if not, then I recommend that you just add your logo here. So I'm going to upload a slightly higher resolution just to make sure that it's really nice quality, and select that one. And as you can see, that's now been added perfectly to my Wallet Pass. And then the last three things that we have to edit here are the top field, which in this case is the email, the credit balance, which is the left field here, and tier, which is the right-hand field. And then these each have an accompanying notification, which I'll show you how you can customize and tweak. So we're going to start with the top field. The default here is email, which is the unique identifier for each customer. So it's an idea to keep this here just in case for some reason your scanner is not working and maybe you need to manually look up a contact. This is their unique identifier. So if for some reason your POS is down or anything else and you need to manually search for a contact, you can use their email and do that really, really efficiently. So I recommend leaving this email here. If not, then it's going to be in the details section, which I'll cover in a second. And what you can potentially do here is change it to their first name. Now, the reason for this is because when they then scan their Wallet Pass, they're going to have their first name on the front, and your employees will be able to see what their name is and actually call them by name, give them a bit more of a personalized experience. Now, you'll see because I've changed the value here, the email was initially referenced, but we're going to change this because this is the notification your customers will get if this field on their Wallet Pass changes. So we're going to say your name has been changed to, and then we can select the first name attribute from this list. That's not really going to change. So if you're using name or email, you don't need to worry too much about this notification, but just make sure that the attribute or value is correctly referenced here. Then the next thing that we have are the left field and right field. So if you don't want to have both of these, although I do recommend you use as many fields as possible, you can always select that they are not visible using this toggle. Now for the left field, we have credit balance. I think that's an essential metric for the vast majority of people who are using our Wallet Pass or that have a loyalty program. The reason being is that it's really nice for your customer to just be able to open their Wallet Pass and immediately see what their credit balance is, so how many points they have, and then decide whether they want to continue saving those points for something else or if they want to redeem them. If you want to change that, then you can do so. You can just select whatever value it is you would like. So maybe you want their birth date, for example, or any other attribute there. You can just select it from this drop down here, and then you're going to tweak this so that it reflects the value that you've selected. And then you have tier as the right-hand field here. So maybe you're not running a tier program, and instead perhaps you have just a point-based program without any tiers, in which case maybe rather than showing tier, you want to show something else like their birth date, for example. So you can then change the label to birthday, and we're going to change the notification as well to say your birthday has been updated to, and then we're going to click on the brackets here to select that attribute, and it's going to be the birth date of the contact. And now we've configured this entirely. The only other thing that you can tweak here, which you may want to, is the color. Now, we automatically apply the primary color from your brand book, but if you want to tweak that, you can do so at the top here. And like I said earlier, you can click on the swatch and drag things around as you need to if you would like to, or you can also enter in the hex code directly, like so, and then that's going to automatically update for you. Now, the next thing that we need to check now that we've configured everything is how this looks on the Google Wallet. You'll notice that the layout here is slightly different. Your icon is going to be rounded, and the layout of the different fields is also different. That's something that is unfortunately out of our control here at Leet. It's something that's entirely down to Google. But it's good to always check this, because if you're using the Apple version as your base, of course you want to double check that everything also looks just as good in the Google version. And now we've edited everything as we need to. The last thing we just need to check is the details page of your Wallet Pass. So this is where your customers will end up if they click on their Wallet Pass and go to the 3 dots at the top. Then they're going to be taken to the detail page, which gives an overview of the Wallet Pass, what it entails and why it's there. It's going to contain the email, which I mentioned earlier. So I would recommend always leaving this to the email. So at the very least, if you don't have it on the front of your Wallet Pass, you'll always have that unique identifier referenced in the details of the Wallet Pass. Next up, you have your contact details. So these are actually for your customers to be able to contact you, like I said, if they have any questions or if they need support. So you can actually enter a display value here. So you can say, send us an email, for example, and then you're going to enter in your email address here. So support@leetacademy.com, for example, or whatever it is that your support email address is. And then what's going to happen is once they click on this here saying send us an email, they will receive that pop-up on their phone to send an email to this address or whatever address you've entered there. And now the last thing we have is our general information, which is just the information about the card itself. So you can change this again, as with anything else. Maybe you want to change it to general info, for example, and then you can give the context. So with your Wallet Pass, you can earn and redeem points for exclusive rewards. Whatever you'd like to say here, you can completely customize it. I would try and keep it relatively short, just so people aren't reading an essay if they go to the details of your Wallet Pass. And now we've kind of configured everything we can here. We have all of the details configured. You can double check them again for the Google version. We've configured all of the design elements on the front, and they look good for both Apple and Google Wallet. So the last thing we're going to do is configure the notifications here. So as you can see, we have both of the business profiles that we created earlier that are referenced here. So the reason why these are here is because these are geo-fenced locations. So once a customer comes within approximately 200 meters of your location, they're going to receive this notification as a pop-up or a push notification on their mobile phone. So you can then customize this to say whatever it is that you would like. So you can do so based on location, and you can just click on it here and say, hey, and maybe include their first name to personalize it a little bit. And we can say swing by while you're in the neighborhood. I would recommend keeping these relatively short. I wouldn't go any longer than this, purely because you want them to be able to see the entire notification when it first pops up, and you don't want any of that to be cut off. Then you can activate or deactivate this notification as you would like to. I recommend always having it active unless you want to set up some other kind of notification on a Wallet Pass. And then once you've configured it to your liking, you're going to hit update. And now we've configured everything as we need to. If you want to edit your business profiles, you can do so from here. But for now, we're all good. We have our design in there, we have our notifications, and we've configured the details. So we're just going to save our changes. And now your Wallet Pass is ready to go. Your customers can receive it as soon as they sign up for your loyalty program, which is something we're going to cover in the next lesson under forms. And if you want to tweak your Wallet Pass in any way whatsoever, you can always do that. You can just navigate again to settings. You're going to go to apps, and then down at the bottom here, you can always edit the design of your Wallet Pass, edit those notifications if you would like to, and make sure it's always up to date and engaging your customers as well as it possibly can.